Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.
Live from the GBM studios in Belize City, it's Open Your Eyes. Start your morning right with your hosts, Sabrina Daly and Isani Caetano.
Good morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I'm Sabrina Daly.
I'm Isani Caetano. Good morning.
And good morning, Isani. How you doing?
I'm great. It's Monday morning. It's the 22nd of June, and we're hard on the heels of Father's Day.
I know,
So I'm
I
okay,
know.
I'm good. No
How was the
complaints this
festivities
morning.
over the weekend?
Fairly relaxing, believe it or not. For some reason, I was thinking to myself, well, maybe this are the weekend I might do it up.
Yeah,
But it
I
didn't happen
expected that much.
I kept things relatively calm this
Okay.
weekend, which was good for a change, right?
That's good, that's
spent
good.
time with family, spent time with friends, fathers alike.
Yeah.
Right? And so, yeah. I don't
What was on the
complain this
menu?
morning.
Usually it's barbecue for Father's Day weekend.
Yeah, a whole lot of barbecue. But I'll tell you this much, right? I'm not much a fan of barbecue.
No.
Yeah, man. I prefer rotisserie that I prefer it with the barbecue sauce and
I
the
would
baked
have
beans
never
and all of that.
expected
thing
that
there,
to
yeah.
come from you, Isani. But, to each their own. I know
Yes.
that a lot of families were spending much time with their fathers. I saw a lot of posts online as well, acknowledging fathers in individuals' lives. And so it was really nice to see as well.
Definitely.
I'll tell you, over the weekend, I spent my time trying to rest and recoup. I am coming under the weather. I feel like I'm a little bit under the weather. I might have caught a bug here from one of our staff members, and so I feel my throat burning.
Well, I feel like we need for social distance.
You know, I'm so sorry, but I have to admit I might be a little bit contagious, just a tad bit, but I am taking medication as the hours go by. But here's the thing, Isani, the show must go on.
Definitely. We're
And
here on
so-
a Monday morning, right?
Exactly. We have a fantastic show lined up for you guys this morning, so I'll head over there and give you guys that lineup. All right, so we're going to start things off with investing in Belize's next generation. We'll be joined by representatives from UNICEF talking about their mission and impact. And then after that, we'll also be discovering or unearthing Belize's past, highlights from the Belize Archaeology Symposium. And it's summertime, and so you know that kids, they want to get active, they want to be a part of summer programs. And so we'll be joined by a representative from Aquanite as Mr. Martinez talks about diving into summer exciting activities for young swimmers or aspiring swimmers. I'll send things over to Isani now.
All right, great job, Saab. So the 5 things that you guys need to know before you leave your homes this morning. It was another tragic weekend. On Saturday, we lost Jane Urbina as she left from the Belize Central Prison. We're going to be discussing that a bit more. And of course, former Police Corporal Elmer Na has been sentenced to 3 life terms in prison for the murders of 3 individuals. We'll get into that as well. And of course, man, it's an avalanche. It's a cascade of documents being unearthed where Mr. Mira's family members are concerned. All right, and then of course we have the Miss Universe Belize franchise being bought out by an organization coming out of El Salvador. And last but certainly not least, there is a 2026 Summerfest that's scheduled for this Friday, June 26th. Sab, take it away.
Alrighty, thank you very much, Isani. And as we did last week, I want to jump in and quickly say some special good morning greetings to our viewers tuning in at this time, only because I find that when we go into the program, we tend to forget those viewers who have made it their business to join us as early as 6:30 and share their good morning greetings. So good morning to our usuals. I know Samson Jacobs has always joined us as 6:30, really. Good morning to Tyler Smith. Good morning to Michelle Sampson. She said, good morning, folks. Hope the Monday is a good one. Bad one for me. Phone crashed on me. Oh, my goodness. That's terrible. So you're tuning in from another device, Michelle. Good morning for Francisco Madrid, Janelle Trujeke, Alice, and, of course, everyone else who has made the morning show their usual. Isani, I want to begin with perhaps the most recent report that we got over the weekend, which was a deadly shooting that took place at a Hattieville bus stop, where a woman would have left from the Belize Central Prison, the Colby Foundation, visiting her brother, I understand. She goes by Jane Urbina. We also understand that she was pregnant. She's an expecting mother. And it sent shockwaves over the country when we learned that she was killed.
Yes. All right, so here's what we know so far beyond what you just shared with our viewers, right? So Lionel Urbina remains on pretrial detention at the Belize Central Prison for the murder of Kevin Matthew DePaz. This was an incident that happened in Keycacher about a year or so ago. Now, Mr. Urbina is or perhaps was a law enforcement officer. The initial investigation on this particular incident determined that he was along with another police officer when this deadly stabbing occurred in Keycacher. Now, this is the reason why he's in prison, right? So his sister, Jane Urbina, traveled down from Santa Elena to pay him a visit while he's on remand at the Hattieville lockup. And upon leaving the prison and waiting for a bus that would presumably transport her back to the Cayo district, she came under deadly gunfire. And there's a video that's in circulation in the wake of this shooting where the woman is on the ground bleeding out, right? And I think the most heart-rending part of it, beyond the fact that we lost Jane Urbina, is the fact that she was with child, right? And whoever carried out this callous, heartless act, it's almost as if though you think we've sunk into a new low, and then something happened that takes us lower than where we are as a society, right? I don't know what the motive is, neither am I tying a connection between the loss of Mr. DePaz in Keycacher last year against what has happened to Mr. Urbina's sibling. That's for the police department to make any connections if there is one, right? But I'm just painting the circumstances surrounding her visit to the Belize Central Prison. Now, I'll tell you this much. I spoke, albeit informally, with the CEO of the Colby Foundation over the weekend, Mr. George Gomez. As you know, he replaces the previous CEO of the Belize Central Prison, right? And so I was just asking him to try to get an idea of what may have transpired. Suffice to say that it never happened at the Belize Central Prison or outside of the Belize Central Prison as it was initially reported or rumored, right? The woman had already left the compound altogether and was waiting for a bus elsewhere when this attack happened. Now, it doesn't seem random, right? And I'm not an investigator, but I'm just, looking at it from a sort of common sense perspective here. It doesn't seem random. As a matter of fact, it seems to be a calculated attack on this woman. Why and who's responsible, as I mentioned, is for the police to be able to determine.
I think for me, the hardest part of what we've seen so far is the video being circulating online. As you mentioned, what makes it even harder to digest is the fact that this was a pregnant person.
Yeah, and on that very same bit that you're sharing, it's no different than at the start of the weekend when surveillance footage of the deadly attack on Kiefer McKenzie went into circulation. It's almost as if though and I'll say Belizeans, but it's a phenomena that is not limited only to Belize, but for the purpose of this conversation, I'll say Belizeans. Belizeans are rabid when it comes to these kinds of footage, right?
Yeah.
It goes from one individual who press send on their device to another person, and before you know it, there's a wholesale proliferation of footage, right? And you could imagine the family and friends of the deceased, right? I think last week there was a plea from a family member asking the media and of course the public not to circulate certain images of the loved one who got killed as well, right? And like I said, however, for some reason, Belizeans have an insatiable appetite for this kind of foolishness.
Yeah, and
right?
I don't even think that it's so much of a Belize thing. I think it's just the
That's
nature
what I
of
said.
the internet.
It's a phenomenon,
Yeah.
but for the purpose of the conversation, we're talking about Belize and Belizeans, right?
Absolutely. All right, well, let's move things along because I know what was a talking point in the latter part of the week was the sentencing of El Merna. Of
Yes.
course, you know that we had our staff members out at the courts waiting for this announcement to be made, and that was the headlines in our newscast on Friday.
Yes. It's one of the more, I can't say most because it's an arguable thing, it's one of the more high-profile cases that we've covered, I would say, within the past 7 or 8 years, if I could broaden it to that. Simply to add the fact that this was as closely watched as the Danny Mason one, right? But yes, El Merna has received 3 50-year sentences, won't be eligible for parole until he's just about 90 years old, right? And in essence, what we're saying, he's going to languish behind bars, right?
Yeah.
Now, here's an interesting thing, right? Very, very, very interesting thing. Now, you've gone through the entire motion of a murder trial where 3 people were killed on New Year's Eve 2022. And perhaps the opportunity for you to take the stand and share certain information was given to you on several occasions. And you may not have seized that opportunity to be able to share that information, but upon sentencing, you're blurting out in court another name who you're saying is the actual person who committed this heinous act.
Yeah.
Now,
Who is also currently in the prison as well.
was in prison.
Oh, was.
Correct. So here's the situation as far as I am aware, right? If you want to introduce reasonable doubt in a trial as high profile as this one, perhaps it's easier that you introduce that at the beginning of the trial, that there may be someone else out there who you're not looking at as a possible perpetrator, than if you wait until you've already been convicted and you've been handed down this lengthy sentence and then you're going to blurt someone's name as the person who you believe or who you're saying carried out this act.
Well, I'd like to think that he did do that in the start. He claimed innocence from the start of it.
But he never called a name. That's a
Okay.
different thing, right? He never mentioned any name as another possible suspect. He didn't. Now, I'll go as far as saying this, right? So, the process was fairly lengthy, but during the process, perhaps halfway through, if not nearing the actual verdict, a sibling of Mr. Na reached out to me in my capacity as a news director. And the very same name that was blurted
in the court.
in the courtroom on Friday was shared with me, along with images of the individual and the fact that the person who got in contact with me was basically saying, my brother did not commit this crime, it's this person who committed the crime. And essentially wanted me to publish a story to sort of clear Mr. Na's name. And I said, frankly, that's not my place, certainly not. And if there's a live matter before the court, who am I to interfere with that process by putting up a red herring? Because that's basically what they wanted me to do, is publish something that would take away from what's happening in the court and shed light on someone else as sort of a smoke screen. And I said, no, morally and ethically, I'm not upon that. That's not my place to interfere with that process, right? So for me, it's interesting that it's the same name that came back at the very end of this thing.
Yeah.
Now, if we move away from all of that shenanigans as I describe it, and look at what has transpired here, Sab, you and I, perhaps the family of the deceased, the broader Belizean public, still don't know why they killed 3 people.
Yeah.
And I think if we're looking for closure, if I were the person who, or the member of family who is waiting for closure, closure for me wouldn't simply mean that the man gets 3 life sentence.
It's to
I would want to
understand
know
why.
right? You had a child who witnessed this entire ordeal. Why was my mother and my father killed?
Yeah.
Right? That's a question that will linger into perpetuity. Right? And some people would argue about how do you convict a person without a motive? I don't know. I can't respond to that. Only the legal minds would be able to respond to something like that. But perhaps it's also a legitimate question to ask.
Yeah.
Right? Because I don't know that a motive was ever determined or made public. Why were these 3 people attacked in the manner in which they were attacked on New Year's Eve 2022? These people were with friends and family getting ready to ring in a new year, and a gunshot ring out, right? Leaving 3 people dead, leaving a child, in essence, orphaned,
Yeah.
right? So the question remains, why?
Well, what we do know is that Mr. Na will be spending time behind bars until he's just about 89, 90
Just
years
about
old.
90 years, yeah.
And for a lot of people, if you think of the life expectancy of the average person or an average person, he might just about spend life behind bars.
Well, that is life, right?
Yeah.
I'll go in another direction here, right? So, prior to Mr. Na being arrested, charged, remanded, and then convicted for this particular crime, you had other people in our Belizean society who made certain allegations about run-ins with Mr. Na and the way how he allegedly abused his authority as a policeman, right? And you have numerous stories about this thing, right? It's just that perhaps they didn't have either the courage to come forward, or perhaps they themselves were wrong in whatever activity they were engaged with, but the fact that you have a police officer who comes and takes clear advantage of it, they probably wouldn't come out right and say, well, you know.
Which is the case of many other instances
Good.
where there are good, bad cops in the force as
Yes,
well.
right? So in the wake of this thing, you have people who have reached out to me who are saying, boy, this man, I mean, this kind of policeman, no chance here, this, that, and the third, right? So not only for the family members of the Ramna race, but other people who felt wronged by this individual are saying, look, perhaps he is where he needs to be,
Yeah.
right? As an officer who was wayward in a manner of speaking, who ran afoul of the very law that he was
cop.
supposed to uphold. Yes.
All right. Well, I know there are, I think more than anything, we think of the family at this time who, as you mentioned, Isane, might not have gotten the type of justice in terms, or the type of closure in terms of understanding why it took place. I think they are happy to receive justice in this entire situation. After hearing the sentencing yesterday, I think it's a clear example of what could take place as well for other persons who come afoul of the law, especially those in law enforcement even, that they will be made examples, and as the case of Mr. Na, they will be put to justice and sent to the prison. But let's move things along, because I also know that we are still unearthing more information as it relates to Minister Mira, and we've been covering the Smart Stream contracts for the better part of a week or over a week even, and we continue
We're going on
to
our third
find
week.
we continue to find more information as it relates to affiliations with him.
So, at the start of the weekend, once again, a trove of documents was once again shared with us here in the media. And I know my colleagues are going through these documents to see what patterns and trends, to see what would have probably been questionable about some of these transactions and what have you, right? we're just about halfway there. I understand it was over 600 and odd documents that were shared. And at last count, Paul, was about 238 or 240 or so. So we're there 1/3 of the way there, let's see.
Wow.
Right? Now, the thing here to me, though, beyond everything else, is what I would describe personally, from my point of view here, as rank nepotism. So even if everything checks out at the end of the day, that some people argue, did you receive service? Did you receive the actual good that you were paying for? If yes, then there's nothing wrong with what has taken place. So man never brought the law. Fair enough. If you want to argue that, fine. I could see where that perspective. But man, brother, sister, brother, all of their lucrative contracts and what have you, something rots in Denmark. That's how I look upon that. Something stinks to high heavens in Denmark, right?
Yeah.
Because if that be me or you, and we bring in family and friends, and so the immediate perception is cronyism and nepotism. Can't go wrong that, right? And if we're saying that as a government, you're campaigning on the fact that you say all of them, you say the previous administration and then they do that and we're bring down the hammer upon that kind of thing. Well, now the Prime Minister should, if not, has to act on that.
Yeah.
We go back to a soundbite that was initially aired in January 2021. This would have been a few weeks after the Briceño administration took office in the first term, where Prime Minister Briceño was in the House of Representatives, and again he was castigating the previous administration and said, well, guys, on my side, take this as a warning that uno could get it too, once you know. So here we are.
I also
Here
think
we
of
are.
his speech that he gave after winning his second term, and the fact that he mentioned, you know, now more than ever, politicians might, you know, feel more of an inclination to want to take advantage of the authority and the power that they have, but under his administration,
Yeah.
that is not something that he will accept.
And like I said, just to be perfectly clear, if all of this checks out that there was no law broken or whatever the investigation may unfold and reveal, all I'm saying is it gives the perception of nepotism, right? This thing not happen coincidentally. It seemed as if though it was deliberately done in a sense where, look, how can I help you? How can I help you? How can I help you? How can you get into this government system, find a lane, and make some money?
I want to ask you this, though, because it was me and Paul, I believe, on Thursday that we had an opportunity to look at the interview that Mr. Mira gave in response to the entire situation, where he essentially said, you know, I don't know. I wasn't a part of the selection process of these contracts or these tenders. I'm not familiar with the financial systems and what takes
All right,
place in the
good.
Smart Stream. Is that an acceptable response in your eyes?
Again, I refer back to these beautiful Creole proverbs, right? The ones where I fall in love with, right? Fool the talk, but I don't fool the listen, right? To say this, right? Man, my siblings and I are fairly close, right? We talk about everything. If I meet my little brother at my parents' house, boy,
So the dinner conversation now?
yeah, he'll tell me, boy, I got a contract for
$400,000.
engineering or some architecture work. I'll tell him, boy, I got a contract for do something. The point is, we talk about things.
Yeah.
And my brother and I are in two completely different lanes. When we doing at the media, he do something totally different with teaching and architecture and engineering, two totally different things. But we talk, right? So imagine a scenario where majority, if not all of these siblings are contracting from the same ministry. They not talk. You that me CEO one, I'm sorry, you that me Minister of State one spell, right? You not talk. Nobody not say, but I get this contract that I did, then they shot me peer, then they late with the pay me. Nobody not talk.
Yeah.
So you mean to say Sunday dinner, Thanksgiving, wedding anniversary, birthday,
Never
siblings
came up.
They not talk?
It never came up,
I'm
Isani.
sorry, that's a tough sell to me.
Yeah.
I go with fool the talk, but I don't fool the listen. And I'm almost certain it's a sentiment that a lot of other Belizeans share as well.
So the latest information that you received over the weekend, give us an idea of what exactly that is.
Admittedly, I haven't had a chance to delve into the documents, right?
Okay.
I'll say that on the record. The colleagues in the newsroom are the ones who, at this point, have been kind of combing through it, right? So that I know that I will get a report or an update from them this morning. But I personally did not get a chance to actually sit with it. Suffice to say, there were a lot of files, right?
Yeah.
My colleagues elsewhere in the media describe it as an avalanche. The one over the weekend, I mean a cascade,
Oh, wow.
right? It's
Well,
a serious trove of documents.
hopefully we get something to report on by day's end, and we can give you guys, of course, a deeper understanding of what is taking place as it relates to Minister Mira. But let's move things along, Yasani. I know that last week we also had some sad news to report from the pageantry world
Okay,
here
sorry.
in Belize. Yeah, I'd say sad if you care about having that level of ownership of the
Okay.
Miss Universe Belize organization. Maybe you might say not sad, because when
No,
we
no,
think
I
of
was
other
only asking. I'm not
when
sure
we think
where we are with
of
it.
other countries in the region, like El Salvador and their performance on that global stage, they've always been able to have a leg up in a competition like that. But it is our understanding, based on a report that was done, that the Miss Universe Belize organization has been bought, and it's now acquired by an organization in El Salvador. And so that has been the buzz right now in the pageant world.
Sad because it has left Belizean hands in terms of
Yes.
ownership.
Yes.
But what if it's, and I'm playing devil's advocate here,
Yeah, that's fine.
what if it's an opportunity for more monies to be invested in the pageant from the Belizean perspective,
Yeah.
right? What if we look at it as perhaps not as half empty, but half full in terms of opportunities that are coming our way in
Ooh,
the
I love you
future?
being the optimist, Asani.
I just to say, right? I'll admit, I'm not really a pageant guy. I don't really care
Yeah.
for it. It doesn't move my needle one way or the other. But I also accept and respect the fact that a lot of people are into pageantry here in Belize.
Yeah.
But all I'm saying is, perhaps it's not such a bad thing. We're yet to see what the new owners are going to do in terms of being able to put together something that is viable from this end, that perhaps will not conflict with what they're doing from that end in El Salvador.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the only question I would have asked. But I also say this. A couple of weeks ago, there was a rumor going around that the franchise had been bought or was looking to be bought by someone here in Belize who is very controversial. So
Tell
much
me,
so,
tell
no,
me.
not call no name, Dickie said call no name, Kala. Right? But yes, the name that was floating around fairly recently was one of the names that was in some controversy earlier this year.
Okay.
Right? So, you know, I thought about it and I said, well, perhaps if it went to those in El Salvador, an established organization, maybe we dodge that bullet, not having to deal with that controversial Belizean, right?
Well, clearly you're privy to other information than I'm not. I'm just taking it from the general perspective of someone who would have only received this information and did not have context of the other parts that you did. I see the value of having Belizeans or that Belizean identity involved in our representation, involved in our franchise ownership. And the only thing I worry about, aside from the money, which we know is great, especially if they come with that investment that we struggle to provide for our pageants, I think you don't want to lose that Belizean essence in the
Yeah.
representation.
Yeah.
And
Now,
that
whether
is
they
what
micromanage the local aspect of it is exactly what you're saying.
and that is what the former director, Destiny Arnold, spoke of. She spoke of why it was such a passion for her, having passed through this organization and this pageant herself, but also being a Belizean. You want to make sure that people not only recognize the face and the name of the representation in the pageant, but recognize the country and understand what we are standing for as well. So I'm definitely following this. I also understand that the company that bought over the organization, they will be in country this week. And so I'm not sure what exactly is set to take place. I don't know if we're looking to have a pageant this year in terms of sending a Belizean delegate.
Well, it's still fairly early, wouldn't you say?
Well, I don't know, because
don't know,
I
I
think
just-
the
I was
pageants,
just thinking.
I think the pageants normally take place at the end of the year. So in November even. So
we're in June,
Yeah.
with new ownership.
that's not early if you need to prepare your girl
Forgive my ignorance.
and all of that. I mean, and that's
Yeah.
because I'm still pretty green to the pageant world, and you clearly, the way I
Yeah,
feel.
forgive my lack of interest or my ignorance. Forgive me.
Yeah, but you know, it's still something that we're following. We know that if I see the value in pageantry in a sense of tourism, right? If you look at those other countries like the Philippines and South Africa and you know several other countries that have really placed on this international pageant, they invest heavily in their girls, and it's like a whole other industry. And so I don't know if Belize will ever get to a point where we're seeing like these heavy hitting countries, but you know people can aspire.
Okay, I'll say this, right?
Yeah.
And again, like I said, I've made my position very clear on this matter. It's not something that really moves my needle, but I look at it from a certain point of view as well. So perhaps the one thing for me that is commendable is the fact that we're trying to break certain stereotypes about women who participate in pageantry and what have you, right? So if there was this previous stereotype of what a beauty queen looks like and stands for, of late we've kind of moved away from that. We're trying to break that mold and present something new and something more wholesome, where we're inclusive. That's a word, right? Inclusivity. We have women from different walks of life, shape and size and color and whatever, participating in these pageants. And
Yeah.
I think it brings something fresh and new to the whole scene, simply because, man, when I think about pageantry back in the days alone, anorexic woman, right? And you don't know what our mental struggles they're dealing with to prepare themselves for a pageant,
Yeah.
that at the end of the day, we simply look at them as beauty queens. What else do you bring?
Absolutely.
Now we've shifted away from that, and I think that's commendable.
Yeah, absolutely. When you see on the international stage the women and their credentials, we have people going up there with PhDs,
Yes.
who are doctors, who are career women, who are mothers, who are married even. So it's definitely it's way past that previous, I guess, stereotype as you described it, where they're just looked at as pretty faces standing in bikinis and whatnot. It's much more than that. And so I think there's something that we can take advantage of here in Belize, but it takes a lot of money to do that.
Certainly
and so
does.
we'll see what El Salvador, being a part of this conversation, will do for girls here in Belize. But let's close things off with perhaps the lightest topic of the lineup here.
A
We
reminder.
know that this Friday is our attempt to start and bring back Summerfest 2026. We know that.
Hold on.
I have to say attempt pisani because we saw what happened 2 weeks ago, right?
Inclement weather, we have no control
Yeah.
over that, but we have to
And
put
I
things into
agree.
existence.
I agree. And so this
can't
is
postpone
us
again.
saying that, well, you are going to swim through Dangriga.
So it's now or never, right? This
Yes.
Friday is now or never. Do or die. Go ahead, sorry.
Do or die, indeed. We'll be in Dangriga on the 26th, this Friday, and this is our way of bringing Summerfest to the southern part of the country. I'm excited. April is excited, the entire team, and I know that these kids as well, they're looking forward to it, and I'm really hoping that you guys will tune in as well. If you have the ability to take the drive in Dangriga as well, definitely catch us over there. But yes, we'll have in Belize. Isani and Sabrina, you guys will never get answer. Whatever they talk over Sunday dinner, you will never get answers because you're not family. That's in regards to the Mira situation. Another person said, my question is not to the defense of Mr. Na, is what was the motive behind this all? There have to be. What was it? So just person sharing their thoughts on the different topics that we jumped into this morning. But thank you guys so much for engaging with us. We'll now move into our Eye on the Weather, brought to you by the folks from the National Meteorological Service.
All right, so as Sabrina mentioned, the weather this morning is brought to you by the National Met Service, and here's what we can look forward to today and later in the week. All right, today's forecast is as follows. Cloudy with sunny breaks today and cloudy at times tonight. A few showers or isolated thunderstorms are expected mostly over some inland and southern areas today, decreasing by late afternoon. Then activity will redevelop mostly over the south tonight. The temperatures for today along the coast is 88 degrees Fahrenheit or 78 degrees Fahrenheit. Inland, it's 93 degrees Fahrenheit, 74 degrees Fahrenheit. In the hills, it's 82 and 68 respectively. Extended forecast. Along the coast for Tuesday, it's 88 degrees, 78. Inland is going to be 94 or 74. On Wednesday, it's 88 or 82, 94 and 73 respectively. Thursday is 89 degrees Fahrenheit and 82. Along the coast that is, and then inland is going to be 94 and 72 degrees respectively. Friday, we're looking at 87 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast and 78. Inland is going to be 90 degrees and 67 degrees Fahrenheit. The astronomical forecast is as follows. Sun rose at 5:18 a.m. this morning. It will set at 6:29 p.m. later today. The moon rises at 12:35 p.m. this afternoon and will set at 12:32 a.m. tomorrow. All right, so the marine conditions, the sea state will be moderate to rough. The winds east to southeast will be blowing at 10 to 20 knots. And the tides, today's low will be at 10:49 a.m. The high will be at 4:33 p.m. later today. The lows as well will be 10:28 p.m. and tomorrow's high will be at 4:44 a.m. All right, so that does it courtesy of the National Met Service. Sab, take it away.
Alrighty, thank you so much for that, Asani. At this time, we're going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere. When we come back, our next conversation is investing in the next generation. We'll be highlighting UNICEF's mission and impact.
Introducing BB Insurance, built for Belize. Your security, our priority.
When your baby feels comfortable, you feel confident. Because every little moment deserves protection you can trust. Kushkin's diapers are designed with ultra-absorbent layers that lock in leaks while staying soft, dry, and gentle on delicate skin. So your baby can play freely, and you can enjoy every smile without worry. Kushkin's diapers, comfort they feel, protection you trust. Kushkin's diapers and wipes are available countrywide at a supermarket near you.
The biggest football event in the world is finally here, and Smart is giving you the chance to play and win. Before every match starts, predict who will win. The more predictions you make, the more chances you have to win. Get 1 point towards your total when you guess the winning team. Predict the exact score and earn up to 4 points. The top scorer at the conclusion of the World Cup wins the grand prize of $2,500 in cash. That's not all. Players get a chance to win weekly prizes. Plus, our quarter-final winner gets a watch party package. Play directly in the Smart app for just 50 cents per entry. Prediction starts June 1st to July 18, 2026. Don't just watch the World Cup. Play along and win with Smart. Smart, bringing people together.
The next station is not just a place. It's the vacation capital of the world, Mexican Caribbean. Do you know why we are the capital of vacations? Because no other place on earth brings together so many ways to vacation in one single destination. Every vacation imaginable. Mexican Caribbean, the vacation capital.
For the very first time ever, Open Your Eyes is bringing the Summerfest show to beautiful Dangriga town. Join us on Friday, June 26th at 6:30 a.m. at the Russell Chester Garcia Auditorium for a morning filled with energy, excitement, and non-stop talent. From singing to dancing, poetry to special performances, this is your stage to shine and showcase what you've got. And guess what? It's not just about talent. It's about winning big. Amazing prizes are up for grabs. And even your favorite teacher can walk away as a winner. So come early, bring the vibes, bring the energy, and don't miss Open Your Eyes Summerfest as it lights up Dangriga for the very first time. Open Your Eyes Summerfest, only on GBM.
He skipped nights out, said maybe next time too often. Ramen became a lifestyle, all for this moment, his first car. Protect what you've worked for with RF&G Motor Insurance.
Running a business means every dollar counts.
As a business owner, you face different challenges every day. You need cash flow on hand as soon as you can.
With Belize Bank's same-day settlement, transactions settled by 4 p.m. are credited the very same night.
The same-day settlement will definitely make a difference for my business because I know I have money in the bank so I can pay my suppliers, my staff, etc.
Faster access to your funds, better cash flow, greater control. And with auto settlement, it's done for you every day. Same-day settlement from Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.
And welcome back. Our first conversation this morning is with the new acting country representative for UNICEF here in Belize. We introduce to you Mr. Sajid Ali. Good morning.
Good
Mr.
morning.
Ali.
It's very nice to meet you. Yeah.
Same here. It's your first time here on the couch with us.
Yeah.
I presume it's your first time in a live setting where you're going to be talking to the Belizean public. So let's begin by getting an introduction and understanding of who you are, how you came by UNICEF, and your work with children.
So my name is Sajid Ali. I'm the acting representative for UNICEF in Belize. I've been here since the mid of February, and it has been quite an amazing journey even in these 4.5 months that I've been here. I have worked previously for UNICEF in New York and many other countries in my career, especially in Pakistan, Thailand, Vietnam, Laos, and also in Switzerland. So I've been working in different parts of the world and have been working closely with children and working on environmental issues in my previous roles. So,
what got you into this?
Yeah.
So UNICEF is an organization I think everybody is quite aware of. Even not working for UNICEF, I was aware of because of the mandate it has for children. And I always wanted to work for UNICEF. I am a parent of 2 kids. Well, they're not kids anymore. They're quite grown-ups, 21 and 23. And my son is he's autistic. He's on the spectrum. And I always wanted to work for an organization that really champions for children's rights. And UNICEF, I heard it was great from the outside. Working from the inside, I love it even more.
How did you arrive at Belize? You've been on the other side of the world, as you've mentioned, and New York is the closest to Belize. But how did you?
So I arrived because there was an opportunity, and I really was looking to get back out of a headquarters setting and into the field. And so when Belize came up, I said, yeah, let's grab it with both hands. It's not only the place, but it's also I would say, the opportunities to do more for children in a country where you have about 150 children and young people, 50,000 children and young people. There's an opportunity to do and reach everyone possible, and that's something I would like to do in a country. Yeah.
Now you've arrived at a critical time for us here in Belize because now more than ever before, we've been dealing with issues that affect children and the well-being of children. And so organizations like UNICEF and the partnership that UNICEF has with the government of Belize has been very instrumental in being able to address some of these issues that affect children. But you're only here in an acting capacity too, which suggests to me that at some point you'll either be given that role full time, so to speak, or someone will take your place in a manner of speaking. What can we expect from you in terms of your leadership of UNICEF Belize during the intervening time?
So for UNICEF, I think the important part is the role rather than the person. And someone who comes in and then moves out has to make sure that it's seamless, the leadership, and what UNICEF can do in partnership with the government of Belize for children. So whether I'm here or I'm not, I will be here for a few more months. I've tried to make sure that I've visited every part of the country, had an opportunity to go to schools, meet children, work with every ministry possible, and a lot of partners here to build also those relationships, see the impact that we have with our work, and also to make sure there is a pipeline of work to continue. And that's important. Yes, we will have someone else coming. We are going through that recruitment process, and it takes time. Nothing happens overnight, but I'll be here, and I have some targets to meet and some relationships to strengthen, and I'll make sure that is done.
Perhaps we can dive into the details of some of what you just mentioned. When you talk about targets to meet, I think of the overall mission of UNICEF and the work that has been done here in Belize. For a person who might still not understand the role and responsibility of this organization, how would you describe that?
So UNICEF has worked in Belize since 1954, and we set up an office in 1981. So, and we are in the 6th cycle of what we call a country program document. So we have 5-year cycles of what work we do. We target them, we have our plans. And again, our work in this cycle is focusing on protection from violence for children, that ensuring every child thrives and every child learns. So these are the 3 main areas that we are targeting and working on. And we want to continue doing that. So when we talk about working a lot with children and young people, we talk about their education, we talk about their health, we talk about their nutrition, we talk about protection from violence, and violence, again, protection at home, in the communities, at school, and now even online. So there's a lot of work that UNICEF can do and is doing. But again, we can't work in isolation. We have to work with the government, different ministries, and we have development partners. We have other agencies from the UN in Belize working. There's a resident coordinator who coordinates everything in the country, and we have organizations like PACT, we have NCFC, and we work with most of the, I would say, even social organizations. And it's been very rewarding, I would say, that everybody's willing to do good work for children in Belize. And I know even the media plays a very important role here in calling out when good things are done and when we need to do better. And I think that is a role which is very important, and feedback keeps us as an organization and our work going. So that's something I look forward to.
Let's step back for a second here, Mr. Ali, and I'll ask you a fairly personal question, right? So you've worked in all of these countries that you've mentioned before. What sense of fulfillment or satisfaction have you been able to enjoy doing this kind of work? Considering the fact that, as you've mentioned, you're a father of 2, you've seen your kids growing into adulthood, but you're still dealing with kids, if not at a direct level, from a policy level. What sense of satisfaction do you get?
It is satisfying to see the work on the ground, and not to be just sitting in a headquarters and dealing at it at the policy level or at an advisory role. I think that is the satisfying part, when we see how the rubber hits the road here. And Belize is a very good example on a lot of, I would say, of our activities and our partnerships, which are with schools, which are with villages, which are with communities, that you actually see the results. You see the appreciation for it too. and you see the need for it. Sometimes I think when you come to a country, you're not really aware of the issues. You see always the bright sides, the bright side of it that maybe the world sees. But yes, it's in every place that you go that you will see poverty, you will see the need for education, you will see the need for health services to be improved, and I would not single out any country for that. There is room for everyone, and children are not responsible for most of the problems in the world, but they are the ones who suffer the most.
Absolutely.
So if I could jog my memory just a bit, you've been here for the better part of about 4 months or so, right? You've traveled as far south as Mabilha, right? Where along with other government counterparts, you are dealing with a solar system and water supply, water facility for that community. What was that experience like for you, going deep south and dealing with the indigenous community in southern Belize?
I mean, it was very moving, I would say, to be able to speak to the communities, to hear from them, to see firsthand how important water is. And we were at an event on World Water Day, and the mayor of the town said, you can live without love, but you can't live without water.
Absolutely.
And I find that so true, because water is at the core of everything that happens in your life, and to provide water to places where they did not ever get that, and through solar powered, I would say, technology, that was something which you could see the appreciation for it, and also the want for more. And don't stop there. There are many more villages that need it, and how we can do that. So listening and seeing the results of the work we do, and also the commitment that this work will continue, because UNICEF is not an implementer. We try to strengthen systems. We try to hand over where then I would say communities and the government can take that work forward. That's our role, and really satisfying.
What Isani just described is really just one example of many of the contributions and impact that UNICEF has had in Belize since the 1950s or the 1980s, when you guys really planted yourself here in Belize. What are some other tangible examples of the impact of UNICEF here in this country?
I would say on the education side, strengthening the curriculum, training of teachers, having safe spaces for youth. Youth spaces is one of those examples, and having different hubs where adolescent people can feel safe, and also the community health strategy, the community health workers, their empowerment, increase in their remuneration, more coverage of, I would say, mothers and children through the community health workers, which was not possible. It's not, some places are not even accessible that ambulances can go there, but these community workers are there. Having this new strategy released, looking at strengthening parenting, looking at strengthening child protection laws, and having a children's parliament that we will continue to have. And there's, even in schools, how do you then strengthen them for the different climate and other related shocks that we are receiving more and more, whether it's hurricane seasons, whether it's emergencies or others. How do we keep education going? And so there's so much to talk about, and of course I'll miss some of the work at the top of my head, but I'm just trying to recall.
From my own curiosity, do different country reps come with different things or different areas that they're passionate about that they would like to see be implemented? For example, yourself traveling all over the world, do you have something that you are passionate about that you would like to see implemented here in Belize?
Yes, and you're so right about that. If a representative has a background in health, their focus will be more on health. If it's on education, it'll be more. I think for me, it is working and strengthening and providing more safe spaces and education and health services for children with disabilities. For me, that is very important.
Yes.
It is a very personal, I would say, stand that I take, and I think all over the world we see that this is an area that children are left behind, those with disabilities, and having the inclusiveness in society, in schools, I think is very important.
I think it's so interesting that you said that, because here in Belize, I still think it's an area that we still struggle in terms of providing the necessary resources that these children and parents would need, especially when we think of autism. When I think of facilities that are available, we know that we have the Stella Maris School, we have the Inspiration Center, but many other families still struggle to acquire resources and the necessary screenings and the necessary perhaps therapy that they would need as well. Based on your observation and visiting different parts of the country, is this something that you see Belize is lacking in as well?
I think there is room for improvement here, and we could do a lot. Children with disabilities need to be in mainstream schools and provided the support there. And we see that in some countries where the state or the province or the county provides that support. It's very important to have a resource teacher for those children with disability, and also I think it's important to not leave them behind, because the potential, and I can see my son now is in college. I never thought he would be at that level, but when you get support, and we moved country to country, in some places he was standing outside the class because it was not accepted.
Wow.
And in other places there's real support for him to thrive. So it should be standard. It should be for every child anywhere in the world where they need to be provided that support.
From a broader perspective, I can't help but think about inclusivity, where it has or pertains to children who are diversely able or children who are living with specific disabilities, right? If I look at Belize, we've come a long way. We're not all the way there yet, but we've come a significant way from, for instance, my childhood, where I could recall other students who were different being treated as such. It's not like we were open to embrace other people with those kinds of either physical impairments or, in some cases, mental or emotional impairment. Now, however, our society has grown to a point where we consider everybody, not just those who are properly able, if I could use that description. We consider everybody. And like I said, we're not all the way there yet, because when you look at where other countries are, relatively speaking, some other countries are way more advanced in how they're dealing with, the idea of inclusivity. You've been here a few months. What has been your gauge so far?
I find Belize very interesting when it comes to how you have people from different parts coming together, and one Belizean looking so different from another Belizean speaking different languages, but as a country very united and working together. So I don't see a lot of disparity or exclusion in Belize, but I think it's important that every part of the country is in a way provided the same kind of, I would say, facilities and services, and whether you're in a very remote area or in the city, there has to be some, I would say, uniformity when it comes to that. So I have had a good experience so far, and seeing Belize in a very positive light, and I talk about Belize a lot to my colleagues in different parts of UNICEF. When it comes to disability, I also wanted to say one point. UNICEF has actually a target as its workforce to have 7% of its workforce with persons with disability by the year 2030. Currently we are at 4%. So we are on track. And it's not about bringing more persons with disability into the organs, but persons who are already there, for them to feel safe enough to disclose that they have a disability and seek the support that they get.
When you look at our population makeup, you'll realize that we have a significant percentage of younger people in this country. One could argue they outnumber the older population, so to speak. So you're looking at potential, serious potential from childhood to adolescence, right? What are your thoughts on what can be done to harness that potential in terms of dealing with young men and women and also dealing with children?
The curriculum, I think it's very important. Globally, you're seeing a change, and maybe in a few years, college degrees might not be as relevant as skills would be. So building skills is something we need to focus on. Digitization is something we need to focus on. People keep talking about artificial intelligence, how it'll take over your jobs. I think it's actually those who use it will be more marketable in the workplace. So it's an opportunity, and all of us have started using it, and we find it's making our jobs better,
easier, more efficient,
more accurate, and less mistakes. and that's what we need to focus on. We still need to have skilled, I would say, professionals in the country when it comes to medical, the field of medicine or engineering, or I would say even the private sector and financing, and just we need to have. But the skills that will really prevail are the skills of leadership, people management, collaboration, networking. Those people-centric skills will be very important in addition to technology that we use. So I would say technology in schools, technology in at home, technology in workplaces, the utilization and availability of it will be very important for our young. And we also need to make sure those who are not privileged enough, or those who get pulled into, I would say, activities or because of where they come from and the society they live, we need to have diversion programs more available for them to get them on the right track, especially young people, and to make sure that their full potential is utilized. So for me, I think it's important the focus that we have now in the curriculum and the way of how we teach our children. And out of school activities, if they could have some, I would say, skills building opportunities. And the online platform is so big that you don't have to go anywhere. You could be learning sitting in your home or in a coffee shop.
Well, Mr. Ali, in the interim, what are some other projects that you hope to accomplish while you are here in Belize?
So there are quite a few that will take some time, but I want to lay the foundations. Well, one is on how we make our schools more resistant to climate. So you can call it beat the heat in our schools, to make the schooling of schools. That is important. With climate change, I see the weather is getting hotter all over the world, and we don't want the school to be a place where children are uncomfortable when they're studying, and they need to be there. I think that's something we could improve more on. And I would say on child protection, there's more to be done. A lot we can see, we hear about incidents happening a lot. It's coming to light because the media and social media makes it more prominent. Maybe things were not very prevalent, which are now, which is helpful. And to make sure that legislation is stronger when it comes to that. And I would say when we come to health, we have done well, and to strengthen that network of community health workers, but also Belize has done quite well on the vaccination side, to continue that work and to make sure that vaccinations remain non-controversial and are explained clearly what they're intended for.
Excellent. Well, we thank you for the time that you've taken to sit down with us and share a bit of the work that you are doing. Of course, the experience that you also have been having here in Belize as well. We wish you guys all the best.
Thank you so much for having me.
Alrighty, we are going to take a quick break now, but don't go anywhere. When we come back, our next conversation is Unearthing Belize's Past, highlights from Belize's Archaeology Symposium.
The next station is not just a place, it's the vacation capital of the world. Mexican Caribbean, the vacation capital.
Money travels fast, so make sure you check it before you spend it. Here are 4 easy ways to know your money is real. Look, feel, tilt, and check. Look closely at your note by holding it to the light to see the watermark and the note value. Notice how the see-through image completes itself perfectly. Feel for authenticity. Run your fingers over the raised portrait and the bars on the edges. 1 bar for the $2 and up to 6 bars for the $100. Tilt the note to see the hidden value appear. Look for the moving images on the security thread and holographic shimmer on higher denominations. Check closely. Use UV light or a magnifying glass to find hidden images and microtext. Remember, handling counterfeit money is illegal. If you spot a fake, report it to the police immediately. Look, feel, tilt, and check. Know your money. Check it before you spend it. A message from the Central Bank of Belize.
Benny's is kicking off Father's Day with popping deals for dad. In the month of June, visit a Benny's store near you and get store-wide discounts on select items such as Milwaukee and Axie Power Tools, Charbroil Barbecue Grills, car care products, Karcher pressure washers, Sankey Smart TVs, gym equipment, and much, much more. Make dad happy with popping deals for dad in June, only at Benny's.
Benny's, Benny's, oh, Benny's, 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 Benny's.
If you're into news production, if you've got a sharp eye for what audiences care about, think quickly on your feet, and you're a strong writer, this could be your way into digital media. Greater Belize Media is looking for a digital associate. It's an entry-level, full-time position and your chance to get hands-on experience in journalism and digital storytelling. Bring the energy, the curiosity, and the willingness to learn and work flexible shifts in a fast-paced media environment. Apply now by sending your CV and cover letter to gbtv@btl.net by July 1st, 2026.
He skipped nights out, said maybe next time too often. Ramen became a lifestyle, all for this moment, his first car. Protect what you've worked for with RF&G Motor Insurance.
Ever had your card declined? Now it doesn't have to be. Introducing partial authorization. If the card doesn't cover the full amount, it notifies you what's available. You can accept the partial payment and pay the missing balance with a credit card or cash. No decline. Get what you came for. Partial authorization now available. Belize Bank, our country, your bank.
We at Fulltech Systems understand that technology isn't just a tool, it's a game changer. At home, smart devices and AI are revolutionizing daily life. In education, tech is making learning more interactive and accessible for students and educators alike. For businesses and government, it's driving innovation, streamlining operations, and unlocking growth, leveraging tech for better services, infrastructure, and security. At Fulltech Systems, we help you thrive with cutting-edge solutions, partnering with leaders like Dell, HP, Microsoft, APC, Fortinet, Cisco, and Tomy Inc. We deliver the right products for your needs, whether it's boosting efficiency, improving customer engagement, or scaling operations. Connect with us and let's drive innovation together. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you come for the price, but stay for the service.
Benny's is kicking off Father's Day with popping deals for dad. In the month of June, visit a Benny's store near you and get store-wide discounts on select items such as Milwaukee and Axie Power Tools, Charbroil Barbecue Grills, car care products, Karcher pressure washers, Sankey Smart TVs, gym equipment, and much, much more. Make dad happy with popping deals for dad in June, only at Benny's.
Benny's, Benny's, oh, Benny's, 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 Benny's.
Welcome back. This is is our second conversation, and it's all about unearthing Belize's past, highlighting the 20th Belize Archaeology Symposium. So it's really a celebration and a continuation of legacy. Joining us this morning are representatives from the Institute of Archaeology. We have here with us the director, Dr. Melissa Badillo, also with us, Rumari Ku, an archaeologist. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us, and welcome.
Thank you so much.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We appreciate you ladies taking the drive from Belmopan to come and talk about the upcoming symposium, and of course the work that you guys do over at the archaeology as well. Let's take a step back before we even jump into the symposium and talk about the importance of archaeology here in Belize, the work that each of you do individually, and how it impacts Belize.
For sure. This symposium really, archaeology is a big part of our culture in Belize, part of our history, and so the work that the Institute of Archaeology does is to protect and preserve cultural heritage, including all the archaeological sites that we manage for tourism. Anywhere across the landscape, you can also find archaeological material. So our mandate is really far and wide across the country, and one big part of that for us is education and awareness, outreach, and so the symposium really ties into that because it gives us an opportunity to be able to share, an appreciation for cultural heritage and allow people to understand and know what recent updated archaeological research is taking place across the country.
Yes. I want to get Ms. Ku in the conversation and ask a similar question about your work as an archaeologist. What got you into this?
So I've been doing archaeology for maybe about 3 years or so, but I got into it by actually visiting the sites. My parents, it became a family trip that every time we had somewhere to go, we would go to a site, and Belize is, as Dr. Badillo mentioned, is covered of archaeological material, so you can't step out of your house without seeing something. So it was a family bonding experience, but that's how we got into the habit of learning about archaeology and the importance of it. You go to sites and you get to understand that it's not ever just one history. There's a whole bunch of, it basically defines Belize, and that's why it's really nice that we get to hold a symposium to share that with people.
Yeah.
Do you believe that as Belizeans, we have an appreciation for archaeology and its role in telling the history of Belize? Or is it that perhaps people outside of the country have a better appreciation for what we share in that space as opposed to those of us who live here?
I think there are a lot of people, a lot of Belizeans who do. As I mentioned earlier, archaeology really is a huge part of the tourism sector, and we have a number of tour guides who work, in taking people to visit these sites. And over the years, we've seen increased appreciation and respect for the sites. And so I would think that, with the work that we do in bringing that outreach and awareness, it only adds to that. And we definitely target young people, bringing them, aware of what archaeology is and why the importance of protecting these resources. And I think within the last few years, I can definitely say that, there's an increased appreciation. Last year or 2 years ago rather, at our last symposium, for the first time ever, our statistics showed that we had more Belizeans in attendance than anyone else. So, it really encourages us to continue doing this work and to keep highlighting and sharing the importance of archaeology.
When I think archaeology, the first thing that comes to my mind is excavation, right?
Yes.
I think of, an archaeologist with sleeves rolled up with a pick or a shovel or a brush,
Yes.
diligently trying to uncover something that the rest of the world will be in awe of, right? And that's how we have Caracol, that's how we have Sunantonich and all of these other sites, because the archaeologists, in some case, really went digging, right?
For sure.
Yes.
How do you inspire people, young people perhaps, who would have this kind of interest to be able to pursue archaeology as something that is a passion or a calling that they could actually live and do?
Well, part of that encouragement comes from inviting people to attend our archaeology symposium. You know, the core of archaeology is that excavation, in addition to extensive note-taking. And so when we have the symposium, all the researchers who work in Belize present on their findings and share their work. And we encourage students to come out and learn about it. Every year we also partner students with these projects across the country. So if for any reason students are interested, want to come out and learn, you know, we have ample opportunity for that.
Yeah.
We have just about 30 different projects working in Belize, from Corozal all the way down to Punta Gorda. So wherever you live, there's some archaeology taking place, and reach out to us, and we look forward to partnering more and more students. I think many of the staff that we have on team right now have gone through the similar process, you know, coming in volunteering, and then we partner them with projects, and they get into it and become passionate about, you know, the work that we do, and move on and get higher education in this field.
I think a lot of people might be surprised, though, to understand how expensive researching actually is. And I think that's a part of the work from the Institute that does not get highlighted enough. The effort that goes into uncovering new information, the human resources that's required, the time and how long that could take sometimes, but also the money that is needed to do that. When we think of, you know, these big and grand museums available all over the world, and the contribution that comes from the work that you guys do as archaeologists, that takes time and money. How challenging is that from the Institute to get the necessary resources that you guys need to continue your work?
For sure, it is a big challenge, and I think it's not unique to Belize. Most countries, you know, culture is not one of the highest priority.
Yeah.
So we do need to look for a lot of grant funding, you know, other private donations and things like that. But a part of researchers coming into this country is to help with that, because we may not necessarily be able to fund it directly from our budget. But every project looks for funding out there, and that, you know, with that they take and invest in helping us unearth our past and understand our Belizean identity. And so, you know, we do want to thank them, because this is the 20th anniversary of the Archaeology Symposium. So it takes a lot of resources, their time, to invest and develop archaeology for us. And we encourage young Belizeans especially, you know, to come out, to learn, to understand, and to maybe someday be an archaeologist as well, and take this work further.
Yeah. Romari, what are some new information, or what is some new information that we can expect for the 20th anniversary and installment of this symposium?
Well, this symposium for me is one a little bit more dear to my heart. So it is the 20th anniversary, but I remember the first time I attended the symposium, it was really nice just sitting down and listening to the papers. But what makes our symposium a little bit more different than international symposiums is that you get that one-on-one with researchers. A lot of people don't really get that. You have high-end symposiums that they're way too big, that you get to miss out on some papers that you really wanted to listen to. And we're very glad that this year we get to highlight different sections of papers. There are some papers on underwater archaeology, which is not talked about enough. We have some papers on an actual Belizean coming in and doing field work with Belizean students, and his research on that, which is important because you were mentioned here, we came out with the announcement of the Tekabchak tomb, the founder of Caracol. So for that, one of the exhibits that is actually happening within the symposium is that guests at the symposium will get an experience to visit a recreation of the tomb. And that is something that not everyone gets to see, and that's why it's a little bit more interesting now for the symposium time, that you get to even talk to the people that were part of the team for excavating, and they get to showcase and talk about what it was to actually deal with the findings, the raw excavation of that. So it's really an interesting time this year for the symposium and for guests, honestly.
Beyond the symposium, how do we take all of this knowledge and put it in a curriculum that doesn't only satisfy the need for knowledge of the tertiary level students, but perhaps if we start from a much younger stage where Belizeans could appreciate what you guys are doing and how that ties into the story of our country?
Well, I can tell you that we actually have a direct partnership with the Ministry of Education, in particular with the Access 501 team. And so behind the scenes, in addition to archaeology and the daily work that we do, education is really a big part of our mandate, and so we partner with the Ministry of Education to get archaeology resources within the national curriculum. Actually, we're working with them right now in developing some resources for teachers. So, we might not be able to make it into every classroom, but reaching out to teachers, they then, can extend that to students across the country. And so we look forward to partnerships like that. Collaborations help us do our work and make it go even further.
Excellent. Well, let's look at the details of the event. When, where, and how can people participate?
So the symposium actually begins July 1st, goes through the July 3rd. It's a really nice day. The first day is usually our heaviest days. That's where everyone wants to register. So we urge people to register online so that when you get in, you just get your little wristbands and you walk straight through. You get your little tote bags, your pens and pencils, and you are able to just sit right in. The first day is a introduction session, so that's where you get to understand what really are special papers. You get to have that one-on-one. The second day is similar as well, and the third day is a little bit more winding down, but the information is still very much valuable during that time. And there are specific sessions where we have poster sessions. So these are where researchers, even Belizeans, we come and we bring in our posters, and it's a little bit of a change in pace from lectures to poster sessions where you actually get to speak to a presenter and ask them questions one-on-one. We're actually presenting a paper on digital archaeology. So it goes into time.
What is digital archaeology?
It talks about what we have been going through at the Institute of Archaeology, and our mandate basically is preserving the past for the future, and one of our goals is to showcase that with education. So Dr. Badillo mentioned our very close relationship with the Ministry of Education, and one of those ways is through digital archaeology, is getting archaeology in a way that kids can understand this, supplying them the information, teaching teachers how to teach archaeology. So yeah.
20 years of this symposium is a mighty long time, really, right? I guess from a reflection point of view, what would you say are some of the highlights of the past 20 years in terms of either findings, in terms of knowledge sharing, and what have you?
I think looking back over the 20 years, I am really proud to know that, we've made an impact with Belizeans, providing this outlet where they can come and learn about archaeology. I think nobody else is more excited than the tour guides in the Cayo area, who we see are very passionate about, the outdoors, the archaeological sites, and taking care of those resources. And we look forward to providing them this opportunity because they get that one-on-one time with the actual researchers who do the studies. They can ask more questions, get more information. With students as well, over the years we've seen numbers of students increased over the years, not only from tertiary level school, but even high school, and even some primary students have reached out. At the time of the symposium, July 1st to the 3rd, school is usually out, so we invite parents, if you want something educational, worthwhile to come and do, please bring your kids in, because everything always looks different from the perspective of a child.
Yeah.
And so we really like that. I think over the years, one of the things that we have seen is that increase in Belizean participation, and we certainly want to keep that going.
Yeah. There's a fee associated with the event?
It is a $10 fee for Belizeans, $20 for non-Belizeans, but students with a valid ID can come in for free. So we encourage every student, if you have the time, come on down to San Ignacio Hotel Resort, July 1st to the 3rd, and come join us.
Excellent. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us. Sounds like it's going to be a wonderful event, and we wish you guys all the best.
Thank you so much.
Alrighty, we take another quick break, but don't go anywhere. When we come back, our next conversation is diving into summer, Aqua Nights, exciting activities for young swimmers.
just cigarette. Vape, hookah, cigar, and all kind of tobacco product, Lego, dangerous smoke, and toxic chemical. When you smoke or vape, that cloud they not disappear. It turn into second-hand smoke and third-hand smoke where people wrong your breathing. That kind of smoke that could cause cancer, diabetes, lungs disease, or heart problems. It could kill anybody who get exposed to it. If you smoke or vape, go outside, far from people. Everybody deserves to breathe clean air.
He skipped nights out. Said maybe next time too often. Ramen became a lifestyle. All for this moment, his first car. Protect what you've worked for with RF&G Motor Insurance.
The biggest football event in the world is finally here, and Smart is giving you the chance to play and win. Before every match starts, predict who will win. The more predictions you make, the more chances you have to win. Get 1 point towards your total when you guess the winning team. Predict the exact score and earn up to 4 points. The top scorer at the conclusion of the World Cup wins the grand prize of $2,500 in cash. That's not all. Players get a chance to win weekly prizes. Plus, our quarter-final winner gets a watch party package. Play directly in the Smart app for just 50 cents per entry. Prediction starts June 1st to July 18, 2026. Don't just watch the World Cup. Play along and win with Smart. Smart, bringing people together.
He skipped nights out. Said maybe next time too often. Ramen became a lifestyle. All for this moment, his first car. Protect what you've worked for with RF&G Motor Insurance.
I've always been fascinated with gemstones. It's all about taking nature's beauty and creating something uniquely beautiful. I've had inspiration from the Belize Blue Bull, the beaches, the Jaguar. I've launched a new product called Co-Design with Deb, and Atlantic Bank's e-commerce system has opened the door to my international customers so I can receive payments so they can have their custom pieces shipped to them.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
With everything going on in a day, it's easy to overlook a renewal date. That's why Home Protector Insurance sends a simple reminder to help keep you on track. Home Protector Insurance, if it's worth something, insure it.
For the very first time ever, Open Your Eyes is bringing the Summerfest show to beautiful Dangriga town. Join us on Friday, June 26th at 6:30 a.m. at the Russell Chester Garcia Auditorium for a morning filled with energy, excitement, and non-stop talent. From singing to dancing, poetry to special performances, this is your stage to shine and showcase what you've got. And guess what? It's not just about talent. It's about winning big. Amazing prizes are up for grabs. And even your favorite teacher can walk away as a winner. So come early, bring the vibes, bring the energy, and don't miss Open Your Eyes Summerfest as it lights up Dangriga for the very first time. Open Your Eyes Summerfest, only on GBM.
The next station is not just a place. It's the vacation capital of the world, Mexican Caribbean. Do you know why we are the capital of vacations? Because no other place on earth brings together so many ways to vacation in one single destination. Every vacation imaginable. Mexican Caribbean, the vacation capital.
All right, welcome back. Our next conversation is all about swimming. It's summertime, so a lot of us are going to be taken to the waters. Our kids are going to be learning how to swim and everything that has to do with safety in the waters. Joining us this morning is swimming instructor for Aquanite, Kimali Martinez. Good morning, my brother.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Talk to us a bit about Aquanite and perhaps the services in swimming, lessons and safety that you guys offer.
All right, Aquanite, I came about with Aquanite because I observed Belize were surrounded by water. All right, and believe it or not, a lot of Belizeans don't know how to swim.
Here.
All right,
Present.
So I came up with an initiative and I said, all right, I want to create a system where it is okay for the locals, but also international recognizable. So I did some online stories because here in Belize, we don't have nothing written about swimming, what could qualify you to be a swimming instructor, whatever. I grew up at the Y, so the Y was my foundation, and I just build on that. Now I reach out to other people, I reach out internationally, and it just came about where I reach out to the right people. I start doing swimming activities. Like this year, I did a swim for world peace. So Belize is on the map. When you type in world peace swim, we are recognized for that. And I'm looking forward whereby I could travel the whole country, teach more about water safety, right? Free of cost. That's the aim. So just to help whoever cannot afford the lessons, right?
Yeah.
So that's the initiative. Yeah.
You know, around summertime, I know that a lot of families will be trying to get their kids into different activities, and most of them will be for fun, right?
Yeah.
There are a few family members or parents who try to prioritize something that will allow their children to learn a new skill or learn information as well. Why would you encourage parents to put swimming on the list of activities that children should take part in, especially during the summertime?
Well, I recommend swimming because not only they will have fun in the water, you will learn safety skills, and it will teach you coordination. Everything we do in life, it's coordination, but we're not focused on it. Swimming, I cannot think about, what I will eat later or all my stress. Once you go in the water, you need to focus about now, right? So it's like actually becoming one with the water. And it all depends on the instructor, right? Some instructor, which in my eyes, I won't say it's wrong, but everybody associate water, we just have fun.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to put, you could have fun, but learn the safety, right? And learn the psychology, because drowning is just a psychological effect, meaning if you panic, you drown. How I could drown? If I just get panic, something make me panic, I drown. Right? So I believe if the kids they go to a proper swimming facility and proper swimming program, they will learn that psychology effect. All right, what I should do around water. All right, how should I carry myself around water? So I try to teach. All right, you have that body system. Never go swim without your parents. If you go to a pool facility, always find ask, because not all pool facilities have written rules or the depths. So it's all about education. You learn the psychology about aquatic environments, and you have fun.
When I also think of learning to swim, I think of different stories that people would tell you. There's a common story that I would hear from some of my peers or even older folks who say, "Oh, they learn to swim, then they just throw in the water till they come back to shore." What are your thoughts on teaching people to swim that way versus the more formal learning that they would get from your organization?
Well, in my opinion, it all depends on the individual. It's good to see who have that strong self-drive. But they come to it, the bad side about it, it might create that psychological effect where the person builds a fear for the water. Right? Because not everybody have the survival instinct. Boy, I need to survive. Right? Because I see it. I've been through it too. But so I try to educate people it's not the right way. Because we all build different.
Yep.
Right? And like I said from earlier, swimming is a psychological effect. And I get some students who have been through that. So you can see the fear. So I won't recommend it. Right? To me, I believe as human beings, we should evolve. So if you see, and it's open up, right? Because what I've tried to do, if parents are good swimmers, you could learn how to teach, right? Teach your kids, whatever, how to swim. So I'm using Aquanite, whereby I could educate the parents first, and let's do the proper thing, right?
How long does a program with you last?
For learn basic water safety, we go for 8 one-hour sessions.
Okay.
Right, so that's to learn the basic survival, the floats, how you breathe, because a lot of people think breathing is not important, but we breathe different in water than how we breathe in land. Right? It's an opposite, far away opposite. So you have to learn the breathing, you have to learn how to float, then you learn the doggy paddle, how to move around, and so on. I try to make my lessons go on the individual pace. So it all depends on the individual. So right now speaking, I'm trying to learn more about human psychology, where I could, instead of just tell you, all right, show you the technique, I could try to choose psychology wise, right? Meaning, you need to trust me. My aim is to make you trust me, trust yourself. That's what I'm doing. I'm just allowing you to, I'm just building that bond whereby you could trust yourself in the water, because that's what all that catch people. They don't have that confidence, right?
I could remember, because for the most part, growing up, swimming was a summer and an Easter thing, right?
Yeah.
But then we have all the world at time per hand, forgot our water, right?
Yeah.
And in the traditional sense, there wasn't an instructor that would show you how buoyancy works, or how to stroke or paddle or what have you. Like what Sabrina said, right? Show me the water and I sink or swim. And while it's sheer drive that teaches you how to float or how to get back to the bank or the pool side or wherever it is that you're swimming, there was never really that formal instruction that says, okay, this is how it's done. So I was always intrigued by the fact that many years later, you have the why, where kids could not actually go and learn the thing the proper way, as opposed to many of us were first introduced to swimming and how to survive in water, right? How did you first learn how to swim?
I first learned same way like everybody. They throw me in the water. But that built a trust issue.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
I had an uncle whereby he self-taught and he went through the proper technique. So he taught me the proper technique, and that's when I went to the Y with that proper technique, and they just fine-tuned my technique. Right? And what I learned, that the person that threw me in the water, psychology-wise, it break that trust. Because you're like, why that person?
You could have withdrawn and
So it build not knowing that person is trying to build your survival instinct, right? And I just went to the Y, and from there I become swimming instructor. I was still going to high school at the time. I became a swimming instructor during the summertime. Then from there, I gradually went into lifeguarding. And I just came up with the idea. I said, bye. Because everybody into this old school way, gliding, whatever, right? So I tell myself, why don't you swimming and make beliefs reach international, right? Why just watch it as, like what you said earlier, we only swim on Easter and summer. But I want to make my aim is to create a system whereby if kids want to be a professional swimming athlete, it's possible. Open that door. If you want to, say you're recovering off an injury, whatever, the doctor might tell you, oh, you cannot walk for the
Swimming is
rest
great
of your
physical
life.
therapy.
Yeah, it's good for that also. And you don't really need to swim. Just by moving in the water, the resistance, strengthen your body.
I want to go to the point that Isani was making, and even myself, about how people develop that fear with the water. Based on my personal experience, I could tell you that my mother never learned how to swim. I imagine she had a similar experience, and because of that, none of her children were allowed to be close to the water, and so none of us know how to swim either. What's your advice for adults who might feel like they're too old to learn now?
All right. When it comes to the water and swimming in a hole, you're never too old to learn. All right. And like I said, it all depends on the instructor, because you have to be conscious of the clientele. Meaning, I won't train with the intent. I won't train a older person like I train a younger or a 30-year-old person. All right. So you as the instructor have to groom yourself, whereby, all right, but if I have a senior person, how could I train this person to reach to that level? Right? But it's never too late to learn. All you need to come, what I always tell my clients, come with an open mind.
Yeah.
Right? That's all you need, an open mind. Because if you come with a doubt that you wouldn't learn, you will never learn.
Yeah.
Right? So I always tell them, don't say you can't, don't say I try. Say I will do, and then you will see the progression. And with older person, what I know, I try my best as an instructor to praise small wins. Realistically, you won't learn how to swim in the first 8 sessions. You won't be swimming like Michael Phelps. So I try to give them realistic goals. So first you came, you don't know how to do a bobbing, breathe. Now you're doing 10 bobs good. You're not wiping your face. First you just feel, you don't feel comfortable with water reaching your neck. Now water reach your neck, you feel good. So I try highlight the small wins, and gradually when you notice the person accomplish what they always wanted to accomplish.
So tell us a bit about how your service works. Are you stationed at a specific pool, or is it based on where your clients are?
So right now for the summer, based specifically at the Wiley Whistler, I'm hosting the partner with them to do the swimming program. But after that, I'm a freelance. So if the clientele hires me to do a private lessons, they know about family pool, because I know people have every weekend they go to an area, right?
Yeah.
So I make myself versatile, whereby I could go to any pool as long as they have the facility. My aim is to push open water swim, because realistically, Belize, we don't have a certified swimming pool to compete in that level. So if clients want to learn in open water and you have the basic skill set, I could help you in open water. So I go where the client are. Right?
And you also have a swim club?
Yeah, I'm starting June 28th. I push out a swim club. And the aim for this swim club, I know they have kids, they have people who don't have that self-motivation. So in a club now, you meet friends and you train together, right? And I register for a Swim for World Peace. So my aim is, if I grab this group of people, whoever is interested, because next year in May, I think it will be in May, we take part in the Swim for World Peace. All right?
Well, how can people reach out to you?
Well, I have phone number 632-9278. And just take a walk by White Pool. I'll be there whole summer. Right, I'm there on Saturdays, because on the Saturdays I do a little bit of pool cleaning also. So they could reach me, and also on Facebook, Aquanite.
Excellent.
Right, so.
Well, Kimali, this is a wonderful conversation. I know that a lot of families will be signing up their children. I understand you'll have a little boy who will be keeping you busy this summer. And so we wish you all the best.
Yeah, thanks.
Alrighty. We're going to take a quick break now, but don't go anywhere. We have one more conversation to look forward to when we come back.
Everyone has a role to play in ending child marriage and early union. It starts with protecting children's rights. We stop child marriage and early unions by speaking up, by keeping children in school, by supporting families with the services and support they need, and by creating safe spaces for children in Belize.
To learn more, follow us on Instagram and Facebook.
He skipped nights out. Said maybe next time too often. Ramen became a lifestyle. All for this moment, his first car. Protect what you've worked for with RF&G Motor Insurance.
Life moves fast. Your connection should keep up. Need more credit? More data? A flex bundle that fits your lifestyle? With Smart Prepaid, they're a prepaid option for every lifestyle and budget, making it easy to stay connected wherever you are. Because with Smart Prepaid, you can connect on your terms. Purchase credit, data, flex bundles, prepaid plans, and all your favorite prepaid services at any Smart agent, Smart showroom, or simply dial *100 key. No stress, no waiting. Just fast, easy, convenient ways to stay connected every day. Smart Prepaid. Connect on your terms.
We at Fulltech Systems understand that technology isn't just a tool, it's a game changer. At home, smart devices and AI are revolutionizing daily life. In education, tech is making learning more interactive and accessible for students and educators alike. For businesses and government, it's driving innovation, streamlining operations, and unlocking growth, leveraging tech for better services, infrastructure, and security. At Fulltech Systems, we help you thrive with cutting-edge solutions, partnering with leaders like Dell, HP, Microsoft, APC, Fortinet, Cisco, and Tomy. We deliver the right products for your needs, whether it's boosting efficiency, improving customer engagement, or scaling operations. Connect with us and let's drive innovation together. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you come for the price, but stay for the service.
Benny's is kicking off Father's Day with popping deals for dad. In the month of June, visit a Benny's store near you and get store-wide discounts on select items such as Milwaukee and Axie power tools, Char-Broil barbecue grills, car care products, Karcher pressure washers, Sankey smart TVs, gym equipment, and much, much more. Make dad happy with popping deals for dad in June, only at Benny's.
Benny's, Benny's, oh, Benny's, 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 Benny's.
Welcome back. This is our final conversation, but certainly not the least. We are now going to talk about an upcoming Pro FC 22 fight with a star fighter, and we have here with us two representatives from Pro FC to talk about the upcoming event. Of course, no stranger to you guys, Silvino Riverol, and he brought with him a lightweight contender, Dominic Biano. I hope I said that correctly. Yes, excellent. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Silvino, welcome back.
Thank you, thank you.
I heard there's an exciting event set to take place in the north, in Orange Walk.
Yes, good morning everyone. Yes, this Saturday, June 27th at 7:30 p.m. sharp, we have Pro FC 22, the Paris versus Tovar main event, which is Jalen Paris from Orange Walk, professional fighter, versus Gabriel Tovar from Mexico City. Gabriel Tovar is a veteran fighter at Lux, which is one of the big leagues in Mexico, and he's coming to Belize to fight Jalen, who we believe is the #1 fighter, pong for pong in Belize. And Jalen wants to confirm that this Saturday, so it's going to be an exciting professional fight. But apart from that, we do have 14 other fights, including Dominic Biano, who is next to me. Dominic is the feature fight because he's a young guy, undefeated from Belize City. He wants to keep his win streak alive, and he's has a tough task. He's fighting Jose Mejia from Belize City, Belize versus Belize fight, but Dominic's excited about that fight.
Let's talk about, first of all, Dominic, how you got involved in mixed martial arts and what has been the excitement of you participating in this sport?
Well, I've been in mixed martial arts for like most of my life because since like 2019, it was during a summer and my mom didn't want me to stay home alone doing nothing, so she put me in jiu-jitsu. And since then, I realized that I really love jiu-jitsu, but then come COVID and I had to take a little break Then post-COVID, I started training and I started getting really good. And then so I joined the adults class and I started competing more. I noticed that I started winning. And then one day I just went into a fight, and then here we are now. I kind of like the fighting.
What does your parents think about you fighting now in competition versus just doing this as a pastime?
They don't like it.
I could imagine.
Well, they
Scary.
support me, but they don't like it. Like, they don't like when I go into the cage and watch my face getting beat up, punched up. But they would support me all the time.
Yeah.
It's interesting because for many people who don't know you, don't know that you're directly tied to Chef Roger, right? And so we're thinking food and Lebanese cuisine, but we're not thinking getting in a cage and getting pummeled or pummeling someone in return. How do you deal with that? Like that juxtaposition of two different things.
Well, I'd be working with my dad at Chef Rogers, of course, and then sometimes people will come and recognize me from the fights.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, "What? Your dad is Chef Roger and you fight?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah. You make good raps too, though. Now, I could imagine it takes a level of discipline for you to balance so many things at once. What is it like for you in terms of training and ensuring that you meet all areas of your commitments?
Well, it's kind of hard because I'm a student, of course, as well.
Oh.
So I have to be on top of my schoolwork, and then sometimes I'd go in the kitchen and help my dad. And then I do training like late at night from 7 to 9. So I'd come home like around 9:30, and then I don't start my work until 10. So the discipline there is hard to follow, but I get through it.
Yeah. Now, Silvino, I imagine there are so many unique stories like Dominic's that you have come across,
For sure.
that have come under your, mentorship as well. What is it like for you to see, up-and-coming star athletes like Dominic and having the ability to give them the necessary mentorship that they need to progress?
Right. Well, one of the reasons why I started this MMA League Pro FC was for have these youths have a channel to to show their skills, and also to all that negative energy that they grew up having. They can put it into martial arts, make it positive, and have a platform to perform, and release those endorphins and also make it as a career eventually, because now with Pro FC we are able to have professional fighters and they get paid, and then eventually they can go to the bigger leagues like in the US, so and for me it's exciting to see these kids like Dominic. I've seen grow up into this young man now that's fighting. I remember him as a little young kid. I think one time we trained at the BTL Park when he was still like 15 years old, and now he's a 18-year-old young man and he's doing good, he's undefeated. So I'm proud to see that, that he's going in the right way. And I wish more Belizean youths would get into martial arts, MMA gyms or jiu-jitsu gyms, and do more of their, like the energy they have, put it into something positive, so that way you can, you can release that stuff, and then you will be more active in the society and be a better citizen. No?
Yeah.
How have you seen this sport grow in terms of coming all the way to Pro FC 22?
Right.
You had to start small.
FC 0.
Yeah, Pro FC 0. You work your way all the way here. What has that been like?
Yeah, it's very self-satisfying because it was hard at first. That's why I always say in the beginning nobody wanted to sponsor us. We had maybe around seven people training MMA in Belize.
Yeah.
And now I'm sure it was over 100. And then also, we have people that are actually doing good in the first events. Belizeans will get dominated by Mexicans, Guatemalans will come in and beat us up, Now it's different. Now they come in and we're the ones dominating, we are the champions. We have most of the belts. And then we have Jalen Perez, who is a professional fighter and undefeated. So far everyone has come, he has finished them in the first round. So we expect the same in this fight, even though it's a tougher challenge. We expect him to dominate because he puts in the work. He trains 3 times a day. He's living and breathing martial arts, that's all he does. So we expect this to continue. And I believe that, like with Dominic, yes, his parents support him a lot. They might not like that he's fighting, but he has that 100% support from his mom and his dad. So if more parents will support their kids, putting him in and doing jiu-jitsu as kids, or even MMA gyms when they're teenagers, it's something good for the kids, because Dominic's a good example that, that you can be studying and also training. It doesn't take away from it now.
Wow. I mean, you're saying it's great for the kids while we see a man being beat up.
That's Frank Vasquez beating up a Honduran guy. That's our other professional fighter, Frank Vasquez. Yeah.
I just want to ask.
They train for that.
That's what I want to ask, Dominic. A personal question: does it hurt as bad as it looks?
Well, in the moment, no, because of the adrenaline. But the next day, you feel your face and it hurts. Like your body's all sore and you're achy.
Yeah. But as Silvina said, you train for that. How do you train to receive the level of hits that you're getting, the punishment that you get? I mean, you're sitting across from us right now, and you have a black eye.
Well, I like getting punched, I can't lie. And then in the gym, me and my teammates, we spar, we train together because we're like a family, you know.
Yeah.
So we get better together and we grow together, and that's what I like about the sport.
Yeah.
And so the way how we train, we follow a specific guideline that our gym follows, and then we grow based off that, and then we try to implement that in the cage.
It's all love in the end. It's all love in the end.
Yeah.
You might be trying to kill each other for
Yeah.
3-5 minutes, but when you finish, it's like you become a best friend with that person, like a brotherhood.
Yeah.
I train at Prevail Combat Club, and it's located on top of Body 1000.
Here in Coney Drive.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Well, gentlemen, remind us again of the location, the date, and time of the event, and how can we get tickets?
Right. So Pro FC 22 this Saturday, June 27th, 7:30 p.m. sharp at the Orange Rock Multipurpose Complex. Come and witness, if you haven't been there, a night of exciting MMA action as only Pro FC does it. We have, you know, the big truss with the lights, the speakers loud. We have music. We have drinks, food. They have the VIP area for $100. You also have the tables that come with it for $700 with 6 chairs. You also have general admission tickets for $50. There's for everyone, and it's a family event. So if you have kids, bring them. And it's a fun night of exciting MMA action. I'm telling you, these guys train hard for those kind of fights you're going to see, and they're very exciting from beginning to end. It's not boring. It's nothing like any other event in Belize. So if you've never been, please come support it. You're supporting these local guys to have a platform to continue.
All right. And any final thoughts? What would you like to say to maybe young boys who might be interested, or even girls, because girls fight as well in Pro FC, but anyone who might be interested in this area of, or this discipline of athleticism?
I'd just like to say, as hard as the sport looks, or as like rigorous it looks, that you should come and train, especially for my brother who just recently got in, and he had a competition this weekend and he did good against a veteran. So I'd like to give him motivation to come and train more. Maybe he can fight with me in the cage together on the same card.
Yeah. What's his name? Give him a shout out.
Dylan Biano.
All right. Shout out to you. And how about sponsors? Would you like to give any sponsorship
Yes,
highlights?
please. Yeah, I want to thank, of course, my platinum sponsor, Gorilla Energy Drink, and then my diamond sponsor, Quayos Distillery Limited. Quayos has been with us from the beginning, so I want to appreciate them a lot. And Billiken Stout as well, who's on board at Pro FC from day one as well. And I want to thank Zeta Water, the official water of Orange Rock, the Northern Medical Plaza, Eve's Medical Clinic. I also want to thank Hotel de la Fuente and D-Star Victoria Hotel and everyone else who supported us in any kind of way. You know? So, and thank you to Channel 5 for having us open your eyes this morning.
Absolutely. Well, guys, it sounds like it's going to be a really cool event. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
I could imagine, you know, people who have been with you, supporting you, they're excited about this event, and we wish you all the best as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Well, we do have to wrap things up at this time. It has been a wonderful show this morning, and we want to say thank you to all of our guests who joined us, and also you guys for locking in with us. It is June 22nd, and if you're celebrating a birthday today, happy birthday to you. If you'd like to give a birthday shout out, or if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can send us an email at oie@greaterbelize.com. You can also catch us on our social media pages. We have Facebook, that's Open Your Eyes BZ, Instagram for behind the scenes content, that's OIE Belize. We also have TikTok, that's openyoureyes.bz, and then you can call us or text us on our OIE phone number, that's 675-2555. But please do us a favor and join us again tomorrow when you open your eyes
To start your morning right.
Until then, be sure to keep your eyes, your mind,
And your heart's open.
have a wonderful Monday. Good morning, and we'll catch you tomorrow. Bye.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.